Monday, October 10th with my regular kids as we're going to begin talking about Shadow Club here in a moment. We have things to get to before that as we help kids out. One, let me borrow this from you for a second, we have the new Heroes Hall Pass, which you'll be getting when you guys come back to life. And then those of you who are already on life, we're going to be talking about them here in a moment to help you out. Things to cover. One, all of the handouts for my class, of all of the stories and short story things. My recommendation is not to get rid of them at all. The way I run my class is anything I've taught you will be showing up on future quizzes and tests. So all of those short stories we did, we don't get to just forget about them. When we start reading Shadow Club, on our first quiz we have coming up, it references stuff from short stories. It'll say, from the story The Lottery, what comparison works between these two. If you have those old handouts, you get to use them. If you don't have those old handouts, you don't get to use them. So it's up to you if you would like to have access to them, especially that notes handout, the one that talked about the setting and the plot and the characters and the rising act. That you definitely want to make sure you keep because we're going to be making sure we make references to those. So since I have kids asking about can I throw a thing away, the answer is you can, but if you hold on to them, you get to keep using them. Skyward is updated. I'm going to be walking you through Skyward here in a moment. Those of you who don't know how to check it for your B points, I'm going to show you how to check it for your B points. So that way you don't have to come in and ask me. After today, when you come in and ask me, I'm going to say, did you check Skyward? And try to teach that whole responsibility thing. So I'll walk you guys through that one too. And we are on the new 9 weeks. So the first 9 weeks is now officially over. Starting second 9 weeks, today, all of your old grades are reset. You are back to a 0 out of 0 in my class, which is both good and bad. To help you with your 0 out of 0, we're going to try and give you a 10 out of 10. We're going to do a homework assignment in class today. Not to be mean to you, the opposite. My goal is I wanted to give you guys an easy thing. So today's homework assignment is legit 5 questions where you just have to give your opinion. As long as you have been alive and can breathe and can read directions, you should get a perfect score on this. The idea being is that you then get to start the second 9 weeks with an A+ in my class, 10 out of 10. It just means read the directions and then answer the questions. You'll be fine. We have a homework assignment on Thursday and a homework assignment on Friday. They're the same type of things. All of this week is just going to be opinions. Can you follow directions? Can you give an opinion? And then my goal is that we start this week with like a 30 out of 30 A+, and that way it helps bump up your grade and make things easier on you. So that's what I'm aiming for. And if you'll notice, it's the same 2 normal kids with their hands up, so don't take offense when I move past you for now. For your pass that we have, the one that you got just now, write your name on it in pen. If you write your name on it in pencil, there's these things in the world called bad children. And they will take your pass and write their name on it in pen. And now you've given them a second one, which was awful nice of you. So I would recommend using pen to do it. Some of you haven't written your name on it at all, which is like pencil, but even more of a gift to other children. But again, you get to make your own choices on that one. Your original pass is good all the way through the end of the year. So you can keep using it all the way till June if you want to. The one you just got is good all the way until June also. You can keep using it forever and ever and ever, and that's fine with me. That is completely up to you on that one. On the yellow one, if you would like to cash it in because you have blank lines, you can. At the end of class today, if you would like to cash it in for points, you just have to put it over there on the X on my desk. Make sure that your first and last name is on it. If you turn it in without your first and last name, I charge you points for not being able to follow directions. Each blank line is 3 points. If you have the whole thing blank, it gets you a bonus point. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, so you get 10 points for that one. You don't have to turn it in today. If you would rather wait until November or January or April, that's fine. It just means starting today, you can turn in the yellow pass at any time if you want to save yourself points, and I'm absolutely fine with that one. Questions I've not covered now. Selma.
Hypothetically, if I were to turn in a pass at the end of class and it got me another 10 points, could I go back to my seat? No?
Oh, yeah, no. that would require you to be able to travel through time, and that did not happen.
But didn't you already have 50 people?
No, that's why her seat got moved. Logan!
Earlier you told me that from missed days you lose like hall pass things, like lines, you know what I mean?
If you get it signed,
What do you mean, like
if you want to go to the bathroom, you bring me that, I
No.
sign it. No.
do I lose like hall pass uses for not being here?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
I can if you want me to.
No.
Okay. Vasa?
So if it's like the third night and we have these two,
Uh-huh.
are we able to test them both?
Uh-huh. You can wait till the fourth 9 weeks and cash them in for 40 points if you wanted to, if you saved them all. Oh, that's the good kid reward thing. Hi.
So hypothetically speaking,
That's a lot of hypothetically. Yeah.
if I told you yes tomorrow,
In the future.
if someone was to tell you that they weren't here today whenever you passed out the passes,
That's why I keep tracking right over there. Keep lists there. Just like any kids that were not here the first time, I kept track of them also and gave them to them later. It's just that a lot of times that happens. The kids who are gone, I hand it to them. They just got rid of it right away because they weren't paying attention and didn't watch the video.
I was going to say something else. But,
Okay. Does that help answer the question?
It wasn't a question.
Okay, just a statement. Traveling through time. Time's fun. All right, so we're good to go there. If you're wanting to cash it in, put it on the X at the end of class and you're good. The blue one, put it somewhere safe so you don't lose it. Don't become that kid that gets rid of it because, again, I'm not giving you a new one. Until January. Now, open up iPad. We're going to show you how to figure out your B points and your grade because I'm tired of kids asking me.
Mr. Brovicast, I use Skyward through my phone. Can I open up my phone?
What's that kid's name?
Oh, that's why it's blocked out so you can't see it.
That's funny how that works.
Yeah. It's like not trying to embarrass a child.
That person
You get
not
no, it
smart.
says their name, Jaylee.
Yeah, definitely Jaylee.
I want to see their missing assignments.
So now, open up yours, go to Skyward. And find the little button on the left that says grade book.
Through Skyward.
So, in case you're unaware, new 9 weeks means you added 15 B points to whatever your previous total was. That's why I'm having you guys make sure that you know what your points are.
didn't know.
So if you, before, we're at 10 points. That's why some of you guys are now up to 25 points. Here's how you find it, in case you are unsure. You have to go to Gradebook first. From Gradebook, you're going to find the part where it says English. And then don't click on English. Click on the part that says the grade that is there. So you go clicky-clicky on the grade that is there. When you go clicky-clicky on the grade letter, it brings up the list of assignments. That is where you're going to find the B pointing thing. So you go clicky-clicky there, and it goes through the list. It brings up a screen that looks like this. So then it lists all of your formative assignments, which is homework, summative assignments, which is quizzes, and there's one third one just called miscellaneous. That's where this goes. This is in your miscellaneous. Everyone has an A+ as of now, because everyone has more than 15 points. Given it's not for a grade at all, it doesn't count one way or the other, we give an F or an A. But you go over to where it says the something out of 15, that is your current B points. So if yours says 20 out of 15, you have 20. If yours says 90 out of 15, then you have 90. So you can sort of figure it out from there. Miles?
So like updates every time.
I update it every weekend. So it does not update daily, it's just we come in on Monday, that's what I get to tell you, but then throughout the week. So now, if you ask me how many B points do I have, I'm just going to tell you how many you've gained or lost, because I'm going to assume you know how to check it on Monday to find out your starting number. Leela?
It's not showing up.
What are you doing?
Mine says
Eight points. And no, it says A+.
invalid.
Show me what you did.
What are you doing?
You have to swipe. You swipe over, it pops up.
Dang, I got 57. Where do you go though?
Good flexing. So we feel strong with how to find grade. So again, back to here, That's also whatever your 9 weeks grades were. That was your grades for all of your classes for the first 9 weeks, which should be pretty much locked in for whatever grades you have. And now you know how to find B points. Alright, moving on. You've now been educated. For the test last Friday, I'm not going to go over the test with you because we can't fix it. It's part of the last 9 weeks, so whether you knew the answers or not, it's in the past. What I did, what is called curving the test, instead of taking it out of the 54 points, which was how many points it was out of, I took it out of, I think, 48 points in this class. Because I found out whoever had the highest grade on the test in this class and made that what it was out of. And in this class, the highest grade was a 48. So that means one kid in here got a perfect score because I used you as the highest grade. So then you become the new 48 or whatever it was. Those of you who are gone on Friday, you're a whole different issue. So now you can take a look at whatever your grade was on there to sort of figure out how well you did on that one. So just for you a heads up, we're not going to go back and change it. 9-week assessments are done. This grade is done. We start all over with a brand new grade today. Good to go from there. All right. This thing, we're not doing it today. We're going to do it tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday. Because today I want to give you guys enough time to get the homework done because I don't want you to have actual homework you have to take home. Friday, it locks in. So Friday, if you have not beaten your 11 seconds by then, you are out of luck. And if Joseph is still at the 6.2, Joseph gets his additional 5 points. And then probably an additional 5 points on top of that one. But I believe I have a kid in 4th period who's practicing hardcore every day because he's trying to get down into the 5s. And so, but Friday is the last day for this one, and we get to move on from there. No questions on that one. Yay again. All right. We're going to do this magical thing called multitasking, where we're going to try and do more than one thing at a time, which means some of your brains are going to fall apart, which makes things entertaining. So step 1, on iPad, go to Canvas, go to my page, and find the button that says Shadow Club Intro. That is your homework for today, so I can explain it to you. So find that, and go clicky clicky.
What does clicky mean?
It means tap it. I'm used to a computer where you go clicky clicky. I guess you guys don't use computers.
I do.
With your finger, you tap it.
What does finger mean?
Oh, it means losing points that you already just gained, now they're gone.
Dad?
How do you have, like, this week's videos already?
I don't. They're always there. I just haven't linked them yet. Those buttons are just always there all the time. I just have to, at the end of the day, I've been connected. So this is what the actual assignment says, and if you take a look at it there, I will explain it to you. You are writing 5 sentences. For these 5 statements right there in blue, you're going to go through and tell me, do you agree or disagree, and then explain why. You have to explain why. That's the whole part of this, is I want your opinion on why you feel a certain way. You are just replying straight on here. This should say something like open text box, click the button, open text box, and you just type a 1 and your opinion, and then a 2 and then your opinion. That's all I'm looking for you to do. Let me explain what the 5 statements are. Here's the bigger version so it's easier to see. Oh, home children, same thing. You can go find clicky clicky and do typey typey, same idea. All right. So number 1, all 5 of these are going to connect, so we're going to start reading a book tomorrow as we get into it. This book, you can imagine TikTok pranks taken to an extreme form. This book was all about kids who start pranking each other, and they enjoy it so much they end up using it as revenge against kids they don't like, and kids, like with everything, they ruin it by taking it too far and killing a kid. And so it's about that escalation as it goes along, and it starts off as we're enjoying it, and then they enjoy it to the point of someone dying. These are all things that pop up in the story, so I'm curious to see your thoughts on it. 1, I have enjoyed getting revenge on someone in the past. Meaning, at some point you have done a thing where you consider it getting revenge on someone and you liked it. So agree, disagree, and then give me your opinion on why you feel that way. 2, any kid that gets detention with the principal is a bad kid. As in, not with a teacher, but down in the office, with the actual, like, down their thing, do you qualify that as a bad kid?
No.
Like, not what, they're not innocent, it was not a mistaken identity, they did a thing, they got in trouble for it, do you qualify that as bad?
Oh wait, it's
If
not.
you say
I'm not a
no,
bad kid.
that's fine. You then have to explain to me then what makes someone a bad kid. If you say that doesn't make them bad, that's fine. You explain what does make a kid a bad kid. The reason being, in this book, the kids keep saying, I'm a good kid. And then they do this horrible thing that leads to a kid's death. And while it's happening, they're going, I'm not a bad kid. I just did a thing. You're like, well, you killed a kid. Well, yeah, but I'm a good kid. And so my question is, at what point do the things you do make you a bad person? 3, I would intervene if I saw my bully getting beat up. Not like your pet bully you have on a leash, but the idea that that kid that you hate at school, you're like, this kid is trash and I hate them. If you came around the corner here at school and you saw that kid getting beat up, would you do something to stop it? Or would you just sit there and watch it? So that's what intervene means, find a way to stop it. Go tell a teacher, step in the middle of it. Would you find a way to stop it?
I can say something.
In a moment, not yet, trying to ignore the other kids. 4, loudly announcing to the whole class that someone has ugly clothes is an example of
No,
bullying.
it's not.
So let's say this happens more than once, so like every week or so, kid comes in and is like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Did you find out the trash this morning? I think my neighbor threw that away. Oh my God. Does that qualify as bullying?
Yes.
Or is that just expressing an opinion? Because again,
Bullying, guys are gonna keep on doing it.
not yelling at me now, that's why you have an assignment where you get to write down your yelly this.
Oh.
That's what you're doing for it.
Oh.
And so, does that qualify? Again, in the book, that's what one kid considers bullying, so then he starts to get revenge for it, and then all fun and games till the kid dies. 5, I would report my BFF, best friend, that ultimate person, for doing something majorly bad, no matter the consequences.
No.
Now, this major bad thing is like getting a kid kicked out of school level of bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
You find out your friend is letting another innocent kid take the blame for it, and an innocent kid is going to get kicked out of school. Do you say something that you know your friend did the bad thing, and they're perfectly fine letting this other kid get kicked out of school for it? Do you speak up?
They wouldn't even do nothing like
A
that.
lot of what this is going to be is moral choices. We get to find out how good of a person you are. You have to make that moral choice. So here's the part where you have until end of class. I'm going to be distracting you with more conversations, but here's the part where you go typey and then turn it in before we leave.
Wait, because like, did you call my name?
Yes,
Okay.
no, that's email. Eli.
So for number 2, you said like it's not like like the person purposely did it. It wasn't an accident
Correct.
or anything. But it was one time.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Jameson.
In my opinion, from the bully one, I would probably.
Matt, write it down. Not yet. We're going to get there. Right now is the writing it down part, not the talking part. Not you. You just keep looking at me.
I know.
Kira.
But bad is a matter of opinion.
That's why I'm getting your opinion.
Yeah, but like it changes to other people's opinion.
Right, I don't care about other people. I care about you.
Yeah, but my opinion changes.
And so, well, that's why they're writing there before you get a chance to respond.
That's fair.
It's like I know what I'm doing.
I don't.
No, I accept that. Eli?
So if I said like yes and then say how or what I did for the first one, would that work?
I think so. Yeah, you can just submit assignment.
Yeah, I did that.
Hit that. Yeah, and you just write.
Oh, but his looks different. Yeah, because I'm on the website.
And then I'm going to give you like 2.5 minutes, and then I'm going to distract you with the conversation. So for those of you who need the quiety bits, we're going to give you a second. But that's where the multitask comes in, because I can't just sit there and have you guys respond forever. It would take forever. We're going to give you a moment to get there. And then we get to distract you.
Love.
This class is like lunch. It's like lunch.
I'm bringing some meatballs.
So, you know.
That's for me, I bet.
We'll find out. It is. Yeah, not till 3:30. So you're still here for my class.
Oxygen push 0.5s. Oxygen push 0.5s. What did I do to you,
All right.
Eli? Air Force One. Oxygen.
So here's my distracty bits. So while you're doing that, I have another discussion to have with you. So don't get distracted. Make sure you keep doing righty thing. I like to change the stories I do to find ones that work for kids. So like the stories that we did this year for you guys is the list behind me. Lady and the Tiger, The Fisherman, The Voices, The Fun They Had, Priscilla and the Wimps, The Lottery, Hey You Down There, The Necklace, The Zoo, and then Boy Meets World. I want to do my best to give you guys the best versions of the stories. If there are ones that people love, I want to make sure I keep them. If there are ones that people hate, I want to make sure I remove them. So this is where I want to find out if there are stories that you guys feel strongly about. Either ones that you definitely think I should keep, or ones that you definitely think I should get rid of. And I'm assuming for most of them, we're going to be split, because that's what tends to happen, is that for one story, there's a kid who hates it, and another story, the same story, kids who love it. But if there's one that people universally do not like, that allows me to know that that's one I should replace. Or if there's one that everyone loves, I make sure that's not the one I cut if I find a new story. Does anyone feel strongly about any of those stories, ones that you want to throw in an opinion on why I should get rid of it, or why you want to make sure I keep it? Brian?
I think you should not get rid of the voices because it's like a story that keeps on like adding on.
Okay. I could dig that. That one's fun for me to teach because it's watching kids figure it out as the story goes along. It's enjoyable. So I'm glad to see it came across that way. Kira?
I have a strong opinion, but it's not it's not like you should keep it or get rid of it.
Okay.
I hate Priscilla.
Why?
Not Priscilla, no, it's the necklace, the girl in the necklace.
Okay.
I hate her so much.
So not the story, but you hated the girl?
Yeah, when I get introduced to a character, I feel the need to like, see if I'm like, oh yeah, I could be friends with them. I hate her, I would probably commit violent acts to her.
But it's sort of the point on why part of why I like that story is how unlikable the main character is. And it's not often, plus no one dies in that one. And kids complain about me always giving stories about death, so that's partly why I included that one, is it has a character that everyone hates, but yet she doesn't die. So I'm like,
I say you bring more stories with more death. I enjoy the darkness of the world.
shockers. That's very 7th grade of you. Pasa?
I just know. My opinion would be to keep Lady and the Tiger.
Okay, why?
Because I feel like most people got caught off guard on like split thing at the end.
Oh, alright, I like that. And that was sort of my thinking, so I'm glad it came across. Logan?
Can we remove Hey You Down There?
Why?
It's boring.
No, it's not.
And it's one that's been split on.
It's not good.
So can you explain what you didn't like about it? Was there anything in particular that you can point me towards so I know what to...
Dude, I
don't like the story.
What's wrong about it? Again, well, one, he's allowed to have his opinion, but that's been a story that has split kids a lot today. I had a lot of kids who really enjoyed it because they, much like Kira, they really did not like Calvin. And here you have, instead of like Necklace, where nothing bad happens, in this one you have a bad character who gets eaten alive, and for some reason that brought a lot of people joy. And so that's one I've been really, kids have been split on. Serena?
Is one that has about the book they found online?
Yes.
Okay, I think you should remove that one.
Why is that?
It's really boring, and it's just about a stupid book.
Yeah.
The reason I've kept it is it's hard to find really short, because that's when you guys had to read on your own, because there's stories you guys have to read without me, and that's a short one that's easy to understand. And so I tried to find one that's short and easy for kids to understand. So that's one, it's hard to find ones that fit that area. I can get longer stories, but then kids complain about it being a long story. And so I agree, it's not the most interesting. I just have trouble finding short and interesting. Usually to get interesting, it has to be longer, and then kids complain about it being longer. Selma?
I think you should remove the fisherman because it's
Thank
stupid
you.
and all
It's
that happens is a genie comes out of a bottle.
Thank you.
Well, more than a genie coming out of a bottle, he also threatens to kill a guy.
Every story.
All right.
Yeah, it tastes. It's like I said, it tastes. Give her
And, all right, so that's one that you feel strongly about. Oh,
I
okay.
do too.
Give me eye flare on that one.
I definitely.
By the way, we're gonna be moving on in a second. This is me buying you guys time to do typey thing.
Well,
I'm just
how
making
I
sure
just did type because I don't
The
know.
lottery's not good.
they're right in front of you.
But
No, you-
I have to
you
like
like off of
cancel
it.
it and then it'll all like read.
It shouldn't. You can copy and paste it if you need to.
Well, I don't know how to do that, so.
Isha,
They had ours.
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Lillian,
I don't like the zoo because it makes me fear. I have a very big fear I've had since I was a little kid. That one day aliens are going to take over the world and like feed us to their babies and stuff.
I'm not sure how that connects to heights, but okay.
Get the lottery out of here.
Eli,
I don't really have one you should get rid of, but I have some of my favorites.
Okay.
The zoo, the voices, and Boy Meets World are my favorite.
I like Boy Meets World because kids don't like to read, and I can do the 7 elements and not involve reading, and that seems to work for kids.
Oh
So
yeah, what sounds good.
definitely like that one too. We're gonna jump from this. I have to jump back to the other thing because apparently we have some kids showing with the screen back up there for young Leelas and stuff like that. So on this one, I'm gonna go through and give you guys a chance to express your opinions and thoughts here also. But first, I want to see by a show of hands you're agreeing and disagreeing with each one. So for number 1, I have enjoyed getting revenge on someone in the past.
No.
If you agree, raise hands. Hands down.
It depends how
If you
bad.
disagree, raise hands. Gives me an idea just on that.
I've learned not
Revenge
to
on
revenge.
it depends on what it is.
Number 2,
I mean, I can't really say that because I didn't.
any kid that gets detention with the principal is a bad kid.
No,
If you agree on that one, raise hand.
I'm not a bad kid.
I
Says
know.
the kid talking out loud right now.
I'm not even typing.
And disagree.
I don't.
Alright. 3.
That.
And for those of you who, on number 2, if you disagree, be able to explain to me what qualifies someone as a bad kid. Because that's the question we're going to get to is if you say that doesn't make you a bad kid,
I know.
then when I ask you what does, you would put it into your writing. And then I call it. 3, I would intervene if I saw my bully getting beat up. Agree?
Wait.
Disagree?
I'd rather stick up with my bully.
4,
You may change your shoes.
loudly announcing to the whole class that someone has ugly clothes is an example of bullying. Agree? Disagree?
Why no?
Oh, interesting. Alright. That'll be one that we'll definitely have to get into. And then 5, I would report my best friend for doing something way majorly bad, no matter the consequences. Agree?
Mr. Brovia.
Disagree?
Mr. Brovia.
Yeah, Ryan, I see you.
Oh, cool.
Alright. So then, I'm going to go through and give us a chance to do a talky thing that connects to it. Ryan?
Oh, what would be something majorly that would get someone kicked out of school?
Ooh, let's say a weapon at school. Let's say a kid brings a knife to school, and before they get caught, he throws it into another kid's backpack in the classroom. They come in and search it, and they find it in the other kid's
What
backpack.
if the knife was for facts?
Right. And so they find it in the other kid's backpack. That would get the kid suspended. So use that as your example if that would help. Jameson?
Well, write the cuss word on the school building.
Sure. That'd probably be something along those same lines. And then say he's wearing a similar outfit to a different kid.
Spray painting.
There you go. So any number of things along those lines. So the first one up there, number 1, the I've enjoyed getting revenge. That was not as much a discussion-y one. That was more just curious to see where you guys are mentally with the revenge-y bits, since that plays a major role in the story. But we're going to jump to number 2, because that has much more of a discussion aspect to it. So let me do another voting thing first. Your opinion, do we have bad kids here at FJH?
Yes.
By a show of hands, have you guys say we do have bad kids here? Alright, so then, not everyone raised their hands when it came down to the getting sent to the office.
Not you, the other one.
Not you, Jason.
Then, what in your mind qualifies someone as a bad kid if it's not that? And again, People go, well, it depends. Yes, it does depend. I'm asking for you, what is the depending? How do you qualify? If you just raised your hand to say there's a bad kid, what qualifies them as bad? Anton?
Like consistently doing the same thing that's not very good for someone else.
So how often do you consider consistently?
Like,
Ooh, that's
usually
not
every
something
day.
I do.
It's every day.
Like they're doing the same thing every single day.
All right. That would be fairly often if it's every single day. Ani?
Same.
Yelling in class, being annoying.
Okay. So not even getting sent to the office, just the things of being the 7th grader and just being the disruptions in class? All right, that works for me. Aurelia?
I would say probably being disrespectful to the teachers like every day whenever someone asks you a question.
All right. So again, you guys are doing the almost every day. So if the kids take a day off, does that help them not be as bad of a kid? All right. DJ?
In like cussing or always trying to start fights or same thing Aurelia said and being disrespectful.
By the way, this is the first class that has included the disrespecting a teacher into the whole thing, which is interesting.
I know, because we're
Part of what we're going to do on Thursday, the nonfiction articles, are about TikTok trends. As I found 2 articles, one about the devious licks, and then one that was connected to the slap a teacher one that was picking up on there. And so the idea that there are these pranky things that are popping up that are incredibly disrespectful, but the fact that why do kids buy into them, or even the kids that don't do them, why do kids watch them and find them entertaining becomes a conversation to look into. Eli?
So for the bad kid one, it depends on like how often the kid gets into the fights.
Okay.
So if it's like one time in the whole year and they go to the principal's office, doesn't make them a terrible kid.
Okay,
For one thing.
I accept that. Ryan?
Alright, I'm not saying any names.
Good.
Mr. Askew, he was racist. He got me suspended because I did self-defense. So that considers him a bad kid.
So in your view, hateful speech, racism, something like that, that would qualify. Selma?
Like stealing someone's seat in a class that they won't be able to get back for another week.
Wow. Well, it's longer than a week because you'd have to have 100 points to be able to get it back.
Wait,
It's
what?
getting 50.
You
That's,
have 50.
right. To take a kid under 50. If they have 50, they can stop you. So in order to steal a kid's seat who has 50 points, you have to get to 100 points before they get to 100 points. You have to get to 150 points before they get to 150 points if they're already over 100.
How many points do they have?
Over 100.
That's so stupid.
I know. How dare they make good choices? Who would have thought good choices would make you a bad kid? Wait, there's like a term for that. We learned.
Turn in a bunch of stuff.
I'm ready.
Leela, not Leela. Leo. That's a Leela. Sorry.
That's
That's a Leela.
I feel very disrespected right now.
If you have not submitted, submit before tomorrow. Because if we get to tomorrow, you stand. Good luck.